Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast with me, host Imperial Dane. A 1 versus 1 on Moscow Outskirts for you, my wonderful viewers. A 1 versus 1 between here Thanatosu. We'll just be referring to Thanatos just to make things a bit easier for me to pronounce and keep track of. Fighting for the Soviet Union. Hurrah, huzzah! And it's the 52nd Rifle Division going against Dots, yes indeed, Dots, fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the, let's just say 18th Panzer Grenadier Division with a bit of other support elements in. Also noting here, Joint Operations Doctrine, Lightning Wall Doctrine, and Jäger Armor Doctrine for Dots, and for Thanatos we'll be noting Guard Motor, Guard Rifle Combined Arms, and Shock Rifle Frontline Tactics. Pretty much this one he starts out with, whereas Dots here likes to play around a bit. And advancing on both flanks, points being taken. And the Grenadiers start there from the Infantry Company, MD42 following up, noting also that Dots here is spreading out a bit initially. He's not going to focus on one half of the side, which could open up opportunities for Thanatos if he strikes in the right places, since it's going to be very difficult for Dots to actually hold much territory at the moment then. And in fact the west flank will be very, very vulnerable, very squishy, considering that's only Pioneers at the moment. MD42 looks like it's also being sent away on its own. This is some rather risky play here by Dots. One wrong move and his enemy might gain the advantage. So that is certainly something to keep in mind here. It looks like the MD42 is taking a bit cautiously, moving along the fences. Yeah, I wonder if anything's cooking. Shut up, Heinz. Looks like Thanatos is going for a very heavy right-hand push, a third squad of conscripts. Doesn't look like he's got any upgrades, considering the sort of short period of time in which they've all appeared. And there we go, Pioneers coming under fire from the Combat Engineers taking a bit careful here. Pioneers want to get close, the Combat Engineers actually want to stay in range. In this case, the Pioneers want to get into heavy cover. MD42 slowly advancing here, again a bit risky play, but we are seeing an additional Grenadier squad arriving for Dots. Pioneers getting drawn out into the open. Coming under fire there from the Combat Engineers, whoever shall win this. And there we go, the Pioneers rush into the building instead. Clever, clever. Very close to running that victory point neutral, but didn't quite succeed. Conscripts joining up. Also good for Thanatos, that is. Less good for the Germans if he catches him in the right spot. There we go. Making a rush for the small shack while conscripts from up from several angles to try and take up position there. Combat Engineers held back here, and Grenadier squad getting caught by the conscripts as well. Do we have Molotovs up for Thanatos? Does not look like it, otherwise this house could have been a death trap. So with this, instead no case. Instead a third Grenadier squad arrives here for Dots and the 18th Panzer Grenadier Division, which was, I believe, shattered on the eastern front eventually. Panzer Brigade was then formed, and then was eventually formed into the 18th Panzer Grenadier Division once more. MD42 setting up, flanking the conscripts. Well done there by Dots, taking an opportunity. Clearly Thanatos was not quite paying attention, and his men are paying the price as they're caught on the wrong side of the cover, and lots of bullets are being fired into their gullets, and a few Grenadiers moving in there, basically taking every advantage of getting as many bullets on the poor bastard. And there we go, heavy losses to the conscript squad. Ultimately though, the squad is saved and allowed to retreat, but that was pretty damn close. Interesting enough, there's been no follow-ups or anything. No Molotovs, no fourth squad of conscripts. I'm rather forced to assume that Thanatos is floating with resources at the moment, whereas we are seeing Mr. Dots actually pouring a lot of resources into things, already got more units, and likely already more tech as well, so that one is slightly curious. Had he gotten a Molotov up, I'm pretty sure he would have done better, at least another conscript squad. Still, that is not happening. That is not happening at all, and that is definitely giving Dots here an advantage. In fact, we're seeing an additional Pioneer squad, probably because they set up buildings while the other Pioneers are still occupied at the front line. Get their machine and pistolen. And there we go, conscripts rushing ahead. Straight into the MD-42, not really looking good again. And a conscript squad gets wiped out there. Thanatosu seems a bit clump-footed at the moment. Not wanting to sure what seems to be going on, but he's not quite having the luck he probably should have. And he's also flooding more resources than is anywhere near good at this moment, I would bet. Which is a bit of a shame. And it's definitely giving Mr. Dots here a chance of really getting into the game. And gaining some advantages. Scout car on the way. Pioneers here getting burned up by the combat engineers. In fact, oh, rifle grenade straight through the window, immediately killing 3 of the combat engineers. Well done, well done. The combat engineers will need to try to have to get out of there, but this is going to be a tricky one. The chance they have is making their way around this house, around the fence, and then making a retreat behind all of the farms here. Otherwise, they do risk getting hit by a lucky shot. No, looks like he was counting in a conscript squad to provide cover, but that was a bit of a risky plan, and one stray shot could have ended this unit. And there we go, rounding into the house. Fresh conscripts arriving for Thanatosu.
How can we help?
And there we go, Leichte Panzerspielwagen.
We are ready.
One of many scout cars the Germans used, although one that was slowly being phased out. As it turned out, it was pretty much rubbish as soon as it came off the roads. Which rather made others... Oh, another conscript squad lost. This is a bit of a poor start for Thanatosu. Needs to get it together again. He's floating so many resources. I'm not entirely sure what's going wrong for him at the moment. Although we do now see a Guards Rifle Squad arriving. Can that be used to turn things around? Scout car moving up. And needs to be careful it doesn't get spotted here by the Guards Rifle. Otherwise that's going to be a bit of toast. And there we go. In fact, rather unfortunate there. Good luck for Thanatosu. He'll be able to get some menus now. And there we go. Guard rifle combined with machine gun emplacement. Wiped it out.
HMG here.
But not an encouraging sign. And of course, considering he's gone guards, and considering the doctrines know he's either gone guards motor or guards rifle combined arms. Although if he had gone guards rifle combined arms, I'm pretty sure we'd be seeing some hit the dirt now. So perhaps not that. But support weapon company is soon done. Bunker up here, likely could be a medic bunker. There's pretty much no other reason to build a bunker up there. Taking further up. And that's a heavy mortar, thus Guards Motor Doctrine has been chosen for Thanatosu. Out of the other doctrines he had the opportunity of choosing. And all of a sudden the resources he's been stacking up suddenly get used. Which is something. Grenadiers moving in, conscripts need to be careful. Still no Molotovs by the looks of it. Grenadiers moving up, Pioneers moving in as well. This conscript squad needs to get out of there. Thanatosu needs to display some unit preservation, realise this course is lost, and get out of there. Just like Dots did right there with the guard squad. Looks like a mine was there actually. Interesting, interesting. Or perhaps that was the heavy mortar right here.
Grenadiers here. The pack gun is ready for orders.
The heavy mortar firing away. Combat engineers moving up to support. And a light machine gun for the grenadiers flanking up about. Pack 40 out as well. And lots of rifle grenades being tied against this one conscript squad, killing 2 members, leaving the others heavily wounded. And the Pioneers up here getting bracketed by the heavy mortar as well. Not looking good, not looking good right in that sense. Combat engineers getting veterans. 1 grenadiers being pushed away. Conscripts need to retreat. Thanatosu really needs to get more units out on the field. He's overextending himself, and looks like a unit was lost. The Grenadier squad, in fact, wiped out. Bit of a shame for the Germans. Another conscript squad arriving. He can't really now afford to do it like that. I mean, it's a huge waste of manpower. And a half-track arriving. Mittlerer Schützenpanzerwagen. Hurrah and huzzah. And some grenadier complaining that he doesn't want those dogs stealing his boots.
It is ours.
But clearly a rubbish start here for Thanatos. Not entirely sure what went wrong for him. Perhaps something distracted him. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, things are not quite working out to his advantage. Mechanized armor company up. Heavy mortar moving about as well. Looks like he's also focusing up his troops a bit more. Right flank is completely open for the good harassment move. And we are seeing, of course, that while Thanatos has lost, I mean, it's not, you know, all a walk in the park and a bit of a dance there with dots either. Guard squad, though, quickly pinned. Of course, the heavy mortar provides an ever-present threat, and there we go. Support armor corps and a flak panzer arriving. Guards infantry quickly abandoning the scene. And there we go, actually moving up the right-hand flank. But at the same time, he was rather quick to abandon the Guards infantry, and he's spreading out his infantry too much, not really making any coordinated attacks, which is rather what you want to do as the Soviets. And a half-track now with the machine gun and the grenadier with a light machine gun in it, a bit of potent firepower, able to quickly move from point to point.
Half-track ready.
And swinging about here to hit the mortar. Interesting. Even setting up the heavy machine gun. Can the heavy mortar get up there in time? Yes, indeed. Though it might still suffer a bit. There we go. Lots of bullets being poured into it. And veterans you want for the heavy machine gun. That was a bit of a bloody assault there. Nicely done there by Dots, actually. Good usage of the half-track and units inside it. Lovely. Popping over to Thanatos with its guards motor. And an SU-76 is up. Been some time since we've seen that. Can Thanatos, though, put it to proper use? Austin Flak Panzer at the scene. And there we go. Half-track switching the contents over to protect the left-hand fuel point. And looks like another conscript squad could face a doom, but no.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector. Go ahead.
SU-76 moving up.
Awaiting command.
And there we go, Ostwind opens fire frei, in fact, on the combat engineers. With swift bombardment. Ooh! Might get the MG42 right there, but now needs to deal and focus with the Ostwind Flak Panzer. Guards infantry might want to abandon it, but instead they actually end up retreating. Meaning the SU-76 has to deal with the Ostwind Flak Panzer at the current moment. It's a bit of a dangerous situation. We are also noting here marked vehicle, which actually seems to be distracting the Ostwind Flak Panzer for a bit. And looks like the SU-76 takes the opportunity to escape, because currently the Ostwind is too close for the SU-76 to actually be able to deal with it, because the Ostwind will simply drive around in circles. Sturmovik providing the marking, taking a bit of fire. SU-76 quickly needs repairs. Half-tech moving up as well. Heavy mortar in trouble. Overall, rather looks like Thanatos is a bit of a bind. At the same time, he's actually managed to keep up some map pressure. And there we go. Looks like the heavy mortar's getting cleared out. SU-76 firing away. So SU-76 can't seem to hit much, but there we go. Flame for a half-track takes a hit. And looks like he's finally upgrading something, in this case anti-tank grenades. And a heavy mortar secured by some grenadiers, but can they get it out of there? Ooh, damn close, but not quite. A grenade saved the day. And in short, the fascists did not get their hands on a heavy mortar. And we are in fact seeing the entire mechanized part of Dot's forces being drawn up here due to the harassment enacted there by conscripts, saving up Thanatos' force right here at the front line. That is good, but we did see the conscript squad was ultimately sacrificed. Now we're also seeing plenty of manpower again, some sort of utilization. A field gun might prove handy. And we also know currently that Dot's front line is very, very open. So there's a chance here for Thanatos if he can realize it. which is also one of the reasons why you're generally always better off actually playing a bit more actively than just defensively. If you just play defensively, you're never going to try and find any chances to take advantage of, unless you, on the other hand, if you're playing actively, aggressively, you're always going to try to see if you can't find a weak spot, something to pressure your opponent with. So that is important to remember, but there we go, field gun up.
Su-76, go ahead.
Ostwind advances again. And a squad of Panzer Grenadiers with dots.
This land belongs to all of us. Suchka here. What do you need? How can we help?
Conscripts with a trouble MG sneaking up into the church. Going to deliver a special sermon to the conscripts, by the looks of it. And there we go, the Guards infantry getting hammered by the Ostwind. No armor anti-tank support in range, no Su-76, no field gun, so the Guards are quickly retreating. Didn't even try to button it up to sort of buy some time for the rest. And there we go, anti-tank grenade, field gun moving up, Su-76. There we go, also moving. Yeah, could very well be the end of the Ostwind, and there we go, the first shot is heard. Field gun moving up though, taking heavy damage from the Ostwind and its flak panzer shots. Flamethrower half-tech also arriving. And there we go, another marked vehicle up. Su-76 firing away, actually doing quite a bit of nice damage, also gaining plenty of experience from doing so. Also quite a handy way to sort of increase the experience gains for units, I suppose, with marked vehicle, since they gain experience based on damage. So there we go. Already eventually Su-76 actually increases the damage quite nicely as well. Also makes it a bit harder to knock out, and flak panzer is gone. Flamethrower half-tech on a rampage down south. Su-76 could quickly react, but needs to be quickly. And there we go, the flamethrower half-tech instead ends up being chewed up by Guards infantry and a bit of anti-tank grenades. And there we go, utterly wrecked. The Guards infantry sorted that one out most heroically. And we're actually seeing a Stug out. Wonderful, wonderful. Now the question is, can he use it?
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
And a full-on assault here, Panzer Strikes equipped as well. And the Su-76 is moving up too close, it's not even been repaired. This is a bit of a blunder by Thanatos, a huge blunder in fact. A massive one.
The enemy has cut off a sector.
And there we go, the result is he lost his veterancy to Su-76 in a most sad manner. A huge opportunity lost there to really do some damage in the long run. So I'm a bit disappointed in Thanatos over that one. Dots continuing to apply pressure. Scout car nearby.
Vehicles is now available.
We have a DP-28. Give us a target.
Mortar crew ready.
We are as ready as we can be.
You need engineers?
And a bit of quiet. Dots continuing to hold the field.
MG squad awaiting orders.
AT gun here.
No, you shut up.
The Guards here.
Engineers ready.
All quiet. Front line slightly stable. Not looking so good for the Soviets anymore. Thanatos keeps messing up though.
This war is costing everyone.
Sadly so. Although it's not all straightforward for Dots either. He seems to be getting a bit passive as well. And he seems to be playing, and not at all with his Stug, to be honest. Which seems a bit odd. There we go, heavy mortar firing away. Doing a bit of nice damage here to the Panzer Grenadiers. Also a bit of resources being floated. He could go for the Su-85 right now if he wants to. believe it's time to fall back to dots. Time for a mid-game analysis. Concentration is the German is rather enjoying the map the most at the moment. Thanatosu keeps making mistakes. He keeps losing units in slightly silly ways. He's got a nice composition, but the problem is, again, they're just things that don't quite make sense. At certain times he's just flooding resources, other times he's not really preserving his units very well. So there are clearly some flaws that need to be severely worked on there by Thanatosu. On the other hand, he's still able to do dots here, some good damage from time to time, and punishing dots when he actually makes some mistakes. The problem is that Thanatosu tends to make more mistakes, so that rather needs to be rectified. And at least he's also using marked vehicle, which is something a lot of modern novice players do tend to neglect, sadly. It is a very powerful ability if you know how to use it and when to use it. Also, I'd like to see that Stug actually do something. Get the Stug up to the front, have it support some infantry. I mean, it can do quite well if you just trust it. A lot of players do seem to think it's supposed to be a tank, and then when it fails to perform like one, they get a bit upset, which is a bit of a problem. Scout carrier near repairs. I mean, otherwise, Dutch basically just needs to keep up the pressure. He might want to consider mining some of the more far-right approaches, so he doesn't have to detail any units to really deal with that, at least not right away. He certainly has the pioneers to actually do some mining work. But overall, most of the pressure lies on Thanatosu, and that is for Thanatosu to really get it together. But let's return to the fight. Still, the Guards infantry are doing quite nicely, actually devastating a lot of dot slider vehicles, which is quite nice. Maxim also here doing nicely, stopping up, and there we go, half track down. Dots is bleeding, but can Thanatosu take advantage of said bleeding? Can he pour salt into the wound of Dots and win the war? Slowly advancing here, good, good. Points being secured on the west. He might also want to consider mining up some of the approaches to make it harder for Dots to do anything. Also still no doctrine here for Dots. And the Guards infantry quickly find themselves stopped by the MG42. And I'm really confused as to why Dots is handing his Stug like that. I mean, it really seems like he's actually afraid to use it. So he's not supporting it with using it to support infantry in any way. Another Ostwind coming in though. And another Maxim up, interestingly enough. Looks like Thanatosu is a bit annoyed with the infantry and wants something to quickly lock it down, or at least relatively quickly. And there we go, Scout cut on a rampage behind Soviet lines. Well done, well done. And going after that heavy mortar by the looks of it. Cheeky, and more field gun fire, though for some reason just at a blank piece of dirt. And the S-85, later replaced with the SU-100, although the SU-100 only came about in 1945. It also suffered from a few issues, basically due to the fact that the gun was a bit too big for the chassis, and it actually was a bit at its risk of actually tipping over. Frontally, that is. Ostwind on a rampage. SU-85 needs to get up to stop the flak panzer, since Dots really seems to be using it quite well, and certainly one reason that Dots probably is doing well is actually his very good usage of the flak panzer. Sneaking in here and there, trying to hit flanks, using it very well, agilely. Or some agility, I would suppose to be more grammatically correct. And that way he's actually doing an awful lot of damage to Thanatosu and causing some consternation. And there we go, Maxim crew dead. A bit of a blow there. But we do see that Thanatos continues to keep up pressure, and that's definitely one of the things that keeps Thanatos in the match, and certainly his one redeeming feature. He's quite aggressive when it comes to that, though the right flank is now once more a bit on its own. Going for the munitions there. German counterattack from the Panzer Grenadiers. Sturmgewehrs galore. Guards infantry moving up. Heavy mortar nearby. Still no doctrine though up for dots, and the Duke has still not seen a shred of combat yet. I really can't help but feel that's a bit off. And there we go, Jägerarm is up, not my favourite doctrine. But if he can get it to work, good for him. Guards him to 90 problem, MD42, and there we go, Osman quickly following up. Tearing into the already weakened Guards infantry. And then running straight into a field gun, and looks like another SU-76 out for Thanatos. Looks like he lacks the barrage ability, which is quite handy if you can use it well. It can really do a lot of damage to the Germans. It is not something that should be underestimated. That, combined with its high rate of fire, of course, can make the SU-76 a bit of a nasty little fighter. But again, it does require some knowledge as to its usage. Maxim setting up there. The Soviets are actually planning on replacing it later in the war. I think they sort of did. Nothing hugely much more advanced, but it was more functional. Can't remember the name though. There we go, using the SU-26 to bombard. Shots though a bit low. Looks like he was... Oh, damn, that was close. He probably could have done a lot more damage if that had been the first shot. But not much to do about that. And there goes Duke moving up, but without even checking anything, and he's actually remaining in front despite a field gun and an SU-85 firing away at it. That was really a poor usage of the Duke right there by Dots, and I'm greatly disappointed in it. Dots for really failing to use the Duke to his advantage. I mean, that was pretty much just a waste of resources. Also noting here, a heavy machine gun firing with armor-piercing incendiary rounds from the flank pack. 40 moving up. Bold moves here from Dots. Bold moves. Osman following up. Things are getting a bit chaotic, and there we go. Counter barrage in from the field gun firing away at the pack. Osman on top, but actually kills the pack crew. Ach du lieber Heinrich. What are you, blind? Well, technically, 9, but yeah. Panzer is flanking about here. The SU-76 is going to go down. Should not have been left that far unguarded on the left flank. SU-85 reacting. Osman continues to do terrible, terrible things to the Soviet infantry. Right flank finally seeing some action again. Good, good. And Osman going in after the fuel cache of Thanatos. Nasty work there. And the Panzer Grenadiers also causing their share of chaos. Really aggressive play there from Dots. Finding every weak spot and taking advantage of it. Also flooding quite a bit of resources now, although I'm going to guess it has something to do with that Elephant tank destroyer. And there we go, Veterans 1 for the Ostwind, but getting buttoned. And there we go, SU-85 moving up to hit the rear. And there we go, destroyed engine. Osman doing what they can, but ultimately won't be able to penetrate the armour. And there we go, SU-85 scores the kill. Grenadiers doing what they can with their Panzerfaust. Troops hanging about here, healing up. And another SU-76. At least Thanatos has been consistent. And another Maxim cleared out. Grenadiers doing wonders with the light machine guns. Definitely one of my favourite weapons in the game, partly because it's more effective than the one, the Company of Heroes, but ultimately just because I like it and because it's proper.
You have orders?
I think Thanatos, though, should consider actually getting some T-34-85s. They would be effective against the infantry and certainly also able to do quite some damage against the armor as well. Heavy mortar, having limited success at the moment. Although at least it's killed more enemies than it's killed its own troops. Which is always something, I suppose. And there we go. Elephant Tank Destroyer. Schwerer Panzerjäger aus die Schwerer Panzerjäger-Abteilung. Arriving. Very thickly armored. Also very slow. Lots of artillery being blasted in the direction of Dutch troops, though having a limited success at the moment. And spotting scopes up.
Taking indirect fire! It's a mortar! Bereit!
Just need to secure that fuel point, but no mines. I might have figured that. There we go, elephant upgraded. Maxim getting caught here by the grenadiers though. Oh dear for Thanatos. Close but no cigar. Instead he's getting Maxim crews caught out in the open by a light machine gun. And of course the attendant grenadier, so that's pretty bad. SU-75 has still not been repaired though by Thanatos. That's not good either. And the Maxim ultimately gets pushed away. Popping over back to Thanatos under the watchful gaze of the Elephant. Previously known as the Ferdinand after its creator Dr. Ferdinand Porsche. Who you might recognize from all those fancy cars and who really loved making really big tanks for the Führer. And the Führer really loved big guns. He wasn't very practical about it. Much to the annoyance of Heinz Guderian, who had several cases had to point out that it really wouldn't work. And the Elephants only really came about because Dr. Ferdinand Porsche was really great friends with the Führer, who really couldn't say no to him, apparently. So after basically the thing was that there had been a contest between Porsche and between Henschel, who were making also Tigers. Porsche lost, but he's still already actually gone ahead and made a bunch of Tigers anyways. And so he was allowed to actually convert a bunch of them over to tank destroyers, and the German army reluctantly took them on because the Führer commanded it.
We have found the enemy!
Success was a bit limited, depends on who was actually in command of them.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
But overall, the Germans weren't that happy about them.
Fresh units on the field.
Another HU-76, looks like Thanatos is really fond of it. If only he could actually use this and perhaps have laid up some more fuel caches and had gone a bit more vigorously towards the fuel point. He seems none too eager towards them. Also losing a lot of victory points. Finally it continues, finally moving up some troops here again. He needs to try and draw out some of Dutch troops to the flanks, which is currently what's not happening. Instead he's in fact allowing Dutch to focus up. Also looks like Dutch is quite fond of the dual rifle grenade move. It's a bit expensive, but it can actually do a lot of damage if you time it correctly. And the H-85 is in not a good situation. Elephant slowly rolling forward. If only he had a tank, he could quickly flank in here right now and do some serious damage. But sadly has not saved up for it. And there we go, spotted by the Elephant. The H-76 quickly went up in flames. That was perhaps a bit silly. And getting mortared by his own again. Not having any luck there for Thanatos. Lots of grenades flying in as well, clearing out the field gun in a brutal fashion. Also keep a pack 40 close to guard the elephant. That's definitely a good idea in case the elephant gets flanked. There's something that can keep the flankers off. So that is definitely something. Companies moving towards the right hand side. Troops setting up there, healing, all that. Guards infantry remaining in there. That's a veterancy free guard squad. I think it's a bit of a waste of a veterancy free unit to have it remaining there instead of trying to do some damage to the opponent. Although of course he's perhaps hoping for the enemy to be drawn towards the victory point like a moth to the flame, and then burning the moths in this case, or at least shooting them with his guards infantry. Although they are lacking in light machine guns because they've dropped some, so they're not quite as effective as they otherwise could have been, but the hope is there, the hope is there. Engineers are perhaps being rushed in to support as well. And there we go, rifle grenades. And the right-hand victory point is being lost instead. Although we do see a counter-attack, led by some guards infantrymen as well. Hope springs eternal, I suppose. And another flak panzer. Most of the division's lighter flak, though, would not have been flak panzers, but either half-tracks or more, well, tractor-driven equipment, or, well, wheeled equipment. Usually flak feelings, or the smaller flak 38, with just one gun and still 2 centimeters. So, little fun fact there. Osman continues to do excellent service, half-track supporting the infantry. Looks like Thanatosu' last push is in the west. Can he make it? Can he do it? Can the guards infantry hold out? Looks like not. Too low on health, the rifle grenades too much of a problem, but the Max are moving up, H-55 firing away. Elephant rolling in, slowly but surely. Pack 40 nearby as well. Guards infantry look like they want to do something about it. And there we go, grenade on the pack. Killing 2 of them, but not quite there. Grenadiers moving in as well. Centre's cleared up. But again, Thanatos doesn't quite seem to know how to pressure. Things are going a bit sour. Speeding things up here the last few seconds, and game over. A bit of a shorter match, wanted that for once. Game over there for Thanatos. Had a rubbish start, but he somehow tried to sort of get through it, and of course he did it through some aggressive play, but as things sort of also came about, he also became a bit more passive at times, and he certainly forgot about the left-hand side. Had he continued to constantly try and draw dots over there, he might probably done better, and again, I think he should have tried setting up for the T-34-85s. That, of course, preserved his SU-76s a bit better. I mean, that was a bit his problem. There was some flaws in the unit preservation, and overall he probably could have done a lot more. I mean, of course, Dots was also playing quite aggressively, in fact very aggressive, and that probably caught Thanatos a bit off guard, and certainly had him a bit hard, you know, how do I react to this? I'm supposed to be the aggressor one, as the Soviets. Instead, I'm getting overly overrun by the German player, using half-tracks to quickly sneak troops over there, scout cars in there, and certainly in that case, I mean, that was supposed a bit of a blitzkrieg, constantly trying to sort of move faster than his opponent could react, which in part was the essence of blitzkrieg, but was also in essence the art of Soviet doctrinal warfare when it came to the larger scale. Basically, how they did it was a bit different. The Germans were more smaller elite forces, the Russians doing but basically overwhelming everywhere and sneaking in through the cracks. So well played by the German player, fighting better than his Soviet player could react, and the Soviet player making a few tragic mistakes also, which rather ended up hampering him more than that. Had he perhaps mined some of the flanks, he might also have done better. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not simply play Vienna? Of course, remember, there is this Sunday Reserves Challenge tomorrow, so send in your replays.